Oh boy, we are officially in the end game now. There's so much going on about Switch 2 online right now, it's almost impossible to keep up with every rumor or leak that's popping up. This is seriously madness, and I will say this is on a scale that I have never seen for any other console in my lifetime. I have never seen so many people, so many companies, whether it be accessory companies or video game companies, that are hinting at Switch 2, showing off Switch 2 even with their own renders. There's so much going on, but man, today we might finally have our first look at the actual unit in some capacity. Now, once again, take everything with a grain of salt. But this all originated from the user on Reddit that actually said he had a copy of the Nintendo Switch 2, an actual physical unit, and he actually gave information about it. So let me rewind and tell you what he said back then. Real quick, we got over 70 brand new subscribers just the other day. Let's see if we can beat that and get over 100 with today's video. So if you enjoy the content and updates on Switch 2, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Thanks guys, and back to the video. Well, somebody actually came out on Reddit and said that they had a Switch 2 unit and that they would reveal their proof on Christmas Day. But they stated the console is called Switch 2 and the logo is the Switch logo with a giant 2 on the side, which we've been hearing a lot about. Their units was dark gray, but apparently there is a full white SKU, both Joy-Con and a tablet, and another special edition SKU is themed around a game with a 9, a very obvious hint at Mario Kart 9, people think. The console doesn't really feel heavier than the current Switch. The buttons and sticks are marginally larger than the current Switch. Magnetically attaching the Joy-Con to the console makes a mechanical click sound. The two back buttons are indeed the Joy-Con release buttons. Heard the reveal is next month for a Nintendo meeting. I think they are referring to the investors meeting on February 4th. Dock has the same ports of the Switch OLED dock and is a bit larger but curved, and so much of the screen pops out. The game cart slot looks the same as the current Switch. The top side of the Joy-Con, when detached, has a surprise feature. Oh, and the magnets themselves are buttons. LCD screen, that's unfortunate. ZL/ZR buttons are larger than the current Switch, and the sticks are Hall effect. So yeah, he said this about 5 days ago and stated that he would give proof on Christmas. Well, yesterday was Christmas, and yesterday the user actually dropped some pictures for us on Christmas, and apparently these are real pictures of the unit in some capacity. We don't know if this is an older model, is this like a, kind of introductory model for what it did look like, and maybe it changed a little bit nowadays. But yeah, you can see a piece of the dock here. There's an image of the front of the dock where it shows the Switch 2 logo, which looks exactly like a lot of the leakers said it looks, pretty much the exact same logo, just with the 2 beside the Nintendo Switch logo. And then the main picture of him holding the actual handheld screen. Now, a lot of people have been digging and diving into this picture. Now, a lot of people online are immediately saying this is AI, and we live in a world right now where it's so hard to tell unless you really dive in. I tried looking really close at the picture, but it's just too blurry to really make sense of everything that's in the room and everything. There's a couple things that definitely does look wonky, but for the most part, everything adds up, at least when it comes to the console and stuff. His hand looks a little wonky. I can't tell if that's just the positioning of his fingers down there, but yeah, there's definitely some things that's making me raise an eyebrow and making me question. Nevertheless, the console itself is very interesting. It has these 2 weird wiry kickstands that come out. You can see a chip piece coming out the side of the console where the Joy-Con rail is, and this is interesting because all the rumors are stating that it is going to be magnetically attached with the Joy-Con, and if we look at the leaked pictures of the rail of the new Joy-Con, yeah, it looks like it'd fit right in that groove perfectly, so that does have some credibility there. Now, I also ran this image through an AI detection software, and it generated 99% sure that it was AI generated. However, it seems like it's just the background in all of these images that is AI generated, because he sends another picture, a full picture of the dock, after everyone starts questioning the pictures that he took. And he states it's all just AI generated, and down in the comments, it seems like people have figured out that maybe he's just AI generating the backgrounds, so that way Nintendo or really anyone else can't figure out where he's at, which is strange when in reality I feel like you could just take a zoomed up picture of the console, so that definitely also makes me raise an eyebrow. But we have yet again a new look at the dock, and this time a full image of the back side, which is pretty interesting. It definitely looks like a Nintendo Switch dock, just a little different. The back plate is kind of taken off, which probably has a back plate, and then you can see where you'd plug in all the cords on that right unit pad there, and then you can see kind of a rounded, more sleek edge to the dock, and you can see some ports on the side there, and also a rounded front. But once again, it's still really hard to state if this is true. People in the industry are going back and forth. A lot of people are believing that this is actually what it looks like because it matches with what they've heard from their reliable sources directly, and a lot of people said not necessarily. This kind of contradicts what I've heard. Well, PRO actually joins this discussion on Twitter, and you know about PRO and how they are pretty much spot on with their track record, and it's just kind of disappeared, but just came out of nowhere recently and is actually talking like crazy about this console and even directly tweeting at this person to get more information and check it with their sources. And from what they've seen with the earlier pictures where they showed the zoomed in dock, and he stated on Christmas, pics are heavily cropped and the quality is pretty low, so I can't really tell if they're legit or not, especially the dock ones. If I hadn't been told it was the dock, I wouldn't have even recognized it. I definitely wouldn't consider those as evidence that they have the console. He responds to a lot of people in the comments, for instance saying, I'm not saying they're a fraud, it's at least a physical object that could be the dock. He states how he needed more evidence like an uncropped picture of the dock, which later obviously he would send, but we haven't heard from PRO since that uncropped picture, which is interesting. PRO also says, just as I said before, the logo looks very accurate. And what's interesting is a lot of people did not like this because they don't like the logo, which is strange. This will probably be a whole video of itself, but yeah, it's kind of insane that people don't like this logo. I know they expected something bigger and more grand after this long wait, but I mean, seriously, if they named it anything else, it would be a similar Wii U situation. I don't understand how people don't understand that. But yeah, Nintendo Switch 2, it's basic, it gets the point across, it's exactly what Nintendo needs to do to convey the message that this is the second Switch. There's no way that the consumer can mess this up in their head. He's also asked about the thread on Reddit that the user posted, and he said 70% of the info is similar to what I have. 20% I cannot verify, and 10% contradicts what I have. So a lot of that information that I read off the Reddit at the beginning of this video seems to be true. Samus Hunter even chimes in, who's been a very reliable source this year, and states, I still haven't seen the final hardware, but there are many things that line up. I don't think it is the final retail unit, and the dock is missing the backplate. But there are many evidence that suggest the hardware showed is indeed at least a real prototype / display unit. And then she states, my final take on the matter is that the hardware pictures are real, but some of the information's not HW related, said in the Reddit thread, March release, only 30 FPS at 4K, and still have doubts on the bundle with a 9, given it won't be Mario Kart, are not true. Now, this person that apparently has this Nintendo Switch 2, his account is Next Handheld on Twitter, and as you can see, he loves the use of AI, so that definitely is not helping his case here. But he was getting very angry at some people on Twitter, and I think actually deleted some responses that he sent, but I was actually able to read a lot of them where he pretty much just stated, look, he didn't want to do this, and he was actually thrown into this by people that I guess gave this to him or something like that in order to make him the one to reveal this stuff, and that he's just like terrified that he's going to get caught and that bad things are going to happen, so he needs to make sure that he sends the right pictures or he's going to be in trouble. And like I said, he just didn't want to do this at first, so he's just kind of like, hey, I'm here with this thing and I'll answer your questions. He even posted a tweet saying that I'll answer any questions that you ask, like the top 5 comments here, if I'm allowed. I guess he has sources that tells him if he's allowed to do stuff or not, so it's pretty interesting. The whole thing is very wacky. Now, Analyst Nin10doland sees all this stuff and claims that he definitely believes that Nintendo's gonna have to reveal this thing ASAP, and actually states Nintendo will not have much time in January, so a potential announcement early in the month could make sense, Toto said. You can bet that Nintendo is aware of all the leaks and not happy about them, even if some of them will turn out to be made up. It is actually getting so bad with these leaks that they might cause Nintendo to release information earlier than planned. This is something that I've been saying for a while, is that there's no possible way Nintendo can wait that long. I mean, seriously, I think it's almost a 0% chance that they're going to wait until the month of February. It's just a matter of when in January are they going to announce this thing, because they're running out of time. I know they see these leaks, and every single day some company or some user is leaking information about the console, and like Sir Nin10doland said, it doesn't matter if it's true or false. There's so much information out there, Nintendo has to right the wrongings. So personally, I I agree with this. I think we have to have some type of announcement early in January. And that's kind of crazy considering the fact that it's literally December 26th right now. So within a couple of weeks, we could finally get a proper announcement of this thing where Nintendo can finally clear up all these rumors. I don't know why they've decided to wait this long when it would have been so simple if they would have just talked about it back then. None of this would have been happening if they would have just showed off a quick trailer around September of last year. But I think Nintendo really wanted to try their best to maximize sales of Switch 1, and ultimately it was a sacrifice that I don't even think it was worth it. For the games that came out last year, they're okay, you know, Mario Party, Mario and Luigi, and obviously Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I'm sure they're doing good for their own respective sales, but I just don't think it was worth it to try to sell more Switch 1 units instead of just announcing Switch 2. I don't even know if much would have changed or not. But I know we're definitely getting close. I don't want to say the details right now, but I have gotten at least 3 to 4 emails in the last week from companies wanting to send me accessories for Switch 2. I'm not even joking. Yes, literal companies asking to shoot over accessories to me. Now, a lot of them said that they couldn't send them over until February, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I've been receiving some weird emails like that, and it's seeming like companies are gearing up and preparing and wanting to get stuff out there to us creators before this actual drop. So I'm interested. So if I get any accessories from these companies in advance, I'll definitely show them off. But we're gonna have to wait and see what is going on from Nintendo right now. So let me know down below what you think about all this stuff. Is it crazy? Is it just insane right now? Yes, but also let me know if you believe anything. Do you think that this user actually has a copy of the console, a unit somehow, whether it be a dev kit or, you know, some type of early build or maybe even the final build? I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see as time goes on, and I'm telling you, every single day we're gonna get some type of new information. So Nintendo really needs to jump at this thing as soon as we jump into the new year. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.